Good evening. A thick blanket of snow is covering much of South Africa, disrupting road, rail and air traffic in many areas. Reports of snow, rain and sleet have been received from most of the Free State, as far north as the outskirts of Pretoria and as far south as Kokstad and Matatiele in East Griqualand, while all the road passes through the Drakensberg have been closed. A number of people have been trapped. A TV news crew were among those involved in motor accidents, and in Johannesburg a woman died after being hit by a snowball. All air traffic at Jan Smuts Airport has been suspended indefinitely, and a number of international flights have been diverted to other airports. Flight SA251 from Brussels was sent on to Bloemfontein, while flight SA033 from Sydney, flight 271 from Lisbon, and British Airways flight BA055 from London were all diverted to Durban. SAA flight 257 from Frankfurt has been delayed in Windhoek. Domestic flights affected are SA400 from Port Elizabeth and SA304 from Cape Town, both of which were diverted to Bloemfontein. Flights out of Jan Smuts have all been delayed indefinitely. Rob Feisch asked the Deputy Airport Manager at Jan Smuts, Mr. P.J. Silly, why the airport had been closed.
In the first place, it is the instrument landing system being out of action due to the heavy snowfall on the antennas. Secondly, the slush on the runway is in excess of half an inch, and that's regarded as dangerous for aviation. And thirdly, it's poor visibility, poor braking action, as we say in aviation language. And you'll appreciate that these three reasons is more than sufficient to close the airport.
The diversion of flights from Jan Smuts has caused a number of aircraft to build up at Durban's Louis Botha Airport, resulting in some confusion. Rand Airport outside Germiston has also been closed all day, but Lanseria, north of Johannesburg, has been able to operate more or less normally. Rail traffic on the Witwatersrand has also been disrupted, and the SAR has called on commuters to use their own transport as far as possible. The Railways has also placed a restriction on the sending of slaughter animals to Johannesburg and other Witwatersrand stations for the next 2 days. The snow on the Drakensberg has closed off railway lines, and for the time being, no trains are running between the Transvaal and Natal. The heaviest snowfalls have been recorded in the Drakensberg, and at least 20 heavy lorries have been trapped on Van Reenen's Pass, along with a number of other lighter vehicles. Police have closed all the passes and are caring for 180 schoolchildren who were snowed in at Walton. Our Bloemfontein news team of reporter Otto Leroux and cameraman Johan Joubert were involved in a motor accident while trying to get shots of the snow in the Harrismith area. Johan Joubert was admitted to hospital in Harrismith after their car skidded and overturned. However, a team from Johannesburg did manage to get through to Villiers, where Tinny Prinsloo filed this report.
We are now at Villiers, where snow has been falling since 7 o'clock this morning. The roads are very, very slippery and driving conditions are extremely dangerous. Because of the snow, the main road between Johannesburg and Durban has been closed at this point.
Tinny later spoke to Warrant Officer Van Niekerk of the Villiers Police Station.
When last did you see snow like this in this vicinity?
It's the first time in the 21 years I'm in Villiers. It's the first time I saw the snow like this.
Have you had any reports of people that died?
No, not so far.
Over 200 millimetres of snow has fallen on the Berg, causing a number of other motor accidents. The cold is also expected to result in heavy stock losses. An aptly named boat was one of the sites captured in the Eastern Transvaal by a company representative, Mr. Hannes Bard, with his own video equipment. The Weather Bureau in Pretoria said this evening that some of the biggest snowfalls had been over the eastern Highveld. A furniture pantechnicon jackknifed while entering Devon to add to the country's high accident toll. There have been no reports of stock losses in the area to date, but reports say that conditions over the high-lying parts of the interior will only start improving by Saturday. These horses at a small siding near Kinross seemed unperturbed by the inclement weather. Signboards stood stark against the white background in most parts of the eastern Transvaal. They fulfilled a vital purpose, with most of the usual landmarks disappearing under the white blanket. In Johannesburg, the snow and slippery roads have caused a spate of minor accidents, but as far as is known, no road deaths. However, a 21-year-old woman from Bertrands, Miss Martie Greling, died in the Johannesburg hospital after apparently falling heavily during a snowball incident. She is reported to have fallen after being hit on the head by a solid snowball in the city centre. Paul Zwick was on the beat in Johannesburg.
It's unfortunate that this type of weather does take its toll with various mishaps. Considering that Johannesburg last saw a snowfall 17 years ago, people do tend to be overcautious and not really knowing how to deal with the situation. Like the unfortunate driver of this heavy-duty truck transporting dairy products. No one was injured when the vehicle skidded and overturned, causing a considerable traffic jam. Or this truck, which skidded, hit another car and jackknifed. Then the largest tent erected in Africa for the Roodepoort International Eisteddfod later this year collapsed under the weight of the snow and sleet. The tent, costing more than 80,000 rand, can accommodate 4,500 people, but the organizers say that it shouldn't be too much of a problem to re-erect. By and large, most people seem to be enjoying this rare occasion during what should be the start of the sunny spring season here on the Highveld. What does the boss think that you're taking the afternoon off to come and experience it?
The boss doesn't know.
On the whole, Johannesburgers had the time of their lives, and at least one unusual business deal was clinched involving 2 sets of special tyres imported recently by mistake from Japan. The customer jokingly asked a dealer for snow tyres and was pleasantly surprised when the dealer was able to oblige. Otherwise, it was fun, fun, fun.
How much closer?
The Weather Bureau says the snow and rain can be expected to last a few days. A spokesman for the Bureau, Gerard Schulze, said it had been caused by the unexpected movement of a low-pressure system from the Cape over Natal and into the Transvaal and the Free State.
Well, it's exceptional in September. The last reports of heavy snowfalls in September was on the 11th of September 1936, when even Pretoria was covered by a white blanket, according to old inhabitants. The last heavy snowfalls recorded over the Highveld regions were in June 1964, when it snowed in Johannesburg on the